It's Wednesday night. It's February 15th, 2017. I'm Alex Jones, and there's just too much work, so I need to go ahead and broadcast live from the hacienda tonight. We've got the great Josh Owens here running live Facebook mentions that'll be uploaded raw to YouTube later, and we're also shooting right over here. We can show folks a shot of that. We're shooting an HD version, so in the next few days I can put up on the video all these articles and all these documents and all these Pentagon reports that I've got here for you. Now, when you think about the mega corporations and the centralized banks that are very cold-blooded and see everybody as animals, when you think about them, they're all about operating in darkness and keeping you as stupid as possible. And they're also about misdirection, disinformation, and basically manipulating the public. And I've been involved politically for about 25 years or longer, been on air over 21 years. And so it's not that I've got all the answers. Doing this for a long time, I figured out a lot of their tricks. And a lot of these tricks are being used on our own military and our own police and intelligence agencies. And I don't claim to know all the tricks, but I know more than probably anybody else. Because even most of the globalist controllers are very, very self-centered. They just want to run a couple of tricks, and they're very, very lazy. They're all about their mansions. They're all about their mistresses. They're all about screwing over their enemies. They're not real scholars that even study this. And I don't say that from a position of arrogance. I say that from a lot of humble research that I'm even more scared of them because they're so half-assed. Because they're playing with some very, very dangerous fire. You know, last week, we'll probably cut this into the HD feed of this, not the live one, obviously, because of time constraints. But last week, top Democrats Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters had a press conference, and they both said that George W. Bush was still the president. This is 8 years after he was out of office. And they were worried about not knowing what city Aleppo was, but they knew that Russia had invaded North Korea, or Korea in general. Hell, if you think they invaded Korea, just say Korea, because it's north and south. It just shows how disconnected from reality they are, not even knowing there's north or south, much less that Russia supposedly invaded it. And these are top people, okay? These are people just 6, 7 succession lines away from the presidency. And it really shows how we've had a lot of people for generations living off American power while they have disdain for what made this country so great to begin with. So I got up this morning at about 4 in the morning, and I went to Infowars.com, and I was searching through different articles, and I saw a zero hedge story. And then I linked through on the zero hedge article, and I was on The Intercept, I was at Army.mil, and I was reading public documents and even promo videos for the Army and the Pentagon. It was a mix of those different agencies saying, we're going to take over America and run every town and every city in the next decade or so because the country's so destabilized. And we're going to master the human domain and control every facet of human activity. Now, I knew that in years past when we exposed similar documents to this, they weren't as naked or brazen, but they were similar. They'd go like 80% where these went that were just released, that they would always spin it and say, Alex hates the military, or Alex says the military's coming to take your town over next month and, going to rape your daughter and take your guns. Never said any of that. It was normally the military that was actually blowing the whistle and exposing all of this. So I've learned that when they come out with this, the media is promoting it as a good thing, but then if we critique it and say, hey, we're not supposed to have the military on the streets of America unless there's an emergency, then they spin it and say, that we're saying there's an imminent invasion. So the Intercept that Greenwald runs and Zero Hedge and others, they've linked to Army.mil and the rest of the documents. And again, on the HD version of this, we'll put the clips in there of the military saying, there'll be a dystopia, the cities will fall, there will be societal collapse. Because you have to understand, the globalists control the military. The military is not bad on average. They're the most active, involved people in many cases. But the globalists are engineering the societal fall while they're, again, preparing the takeover that comes from the collapse they're orchestrating. But because Trump and other nationalists around the world don't want an end to prosperity and want to end this collapse, they're so upset right now because nationalism and individualism and freedom and renaissance and free market is rising. And Steve Bannon's talked about this, others have talked about this, even Public Affairs, Foreign Affairs publication of the Washington Post has come out and said, okay, Trump's real, he's not crazy. He wants America to dominate globalism, and America built globalism, and Russia better watch out because America will dominate you if Trump does this, so Russia, please turn against Trump. Which is true. I mean, the United States has become super dominant now. We were meant to kind of collapse into this world corporate government, and then every country was the fault. No, the U.S. is going to rise, and every other country with us, as long as they join a free market and Americana, which isn't even Americana, it's just human free will and renaissance. So I wanted to just basically say here, not because it's tooting our horn, but because people need to understand, when we covered Jade Helm, it said a trained mission, a preparation operation to invade Texas and different places like Utah, and even conservative counties in California. And it was clearly on its face a provocation to elicit us to say, oh God, look, they're trying to invade Texas and Utah. Then they say, oh no, it's just a drill. Now, when I say in the headline of this video, U.S. military warns public of martial law plan, it's been the military that's been warning that they've been put in this position. So, again, I'm not saying they're the bad guys. They're being given the policy that's unconstitutional and wrong. But here's Zero Hedge. Coming soon to a city near you, the U.S. military plan to take over America. You can go read the big 12-page report with all the links to the government. This is almost all these links are to Army.mil and the Pentagon, the State Department. This is all right there. So everything we told you about Jade Helm 3 years ago, now documented and happening. We said it was preparation to condition you for this takeover, for the collapse they're engineering, that they then want the military to come in and clean up, knowing that our military is who we love and that who are our friends and family, so we'll just accept it. But after the military leaves, the bureaucratic controllers come in. Now, here's one from The Intercept. Again, I understand years after we break all this, and I'm not competitive with these people. I just want to defeat the globalists. That now the Greenwald is reporting on public documents that now this is going to be taken as real. Because Greenwald is a prestigious reporter, you know, and he doesn't have a Texas accent, so everybody knows Texans can't wipe our own asses. So there's that report right there for you. And they talk about a dystopia, the collapse of the cities, martial law, takeover of society. Master of the human domain, the domestic plan behind Jade Helm. This is May of 2 years ago, 2015, how it was all just a big drill to condition the military and the public to integrate with all the smart technology for a total shutdown and takeover of civilization that was needed. There's that report. Now you read the new reports. These early reports didn't admit all of it, but they admitted much of it. Now they just admit the whole thing. And that's because this was all waiting there in the last 2 years with Obama getting ready for Hillary to come in and this whole engineered collapse. And Chelsea was going to run this big world government health body that forced inoculations on people. That came out in Heat Street today. God almighty. I did a report on it last week. I didn't know it was that bad. So, again, their whole plan is in trouble. It's not the government's our enemy. It's that it's us, and it needs us to speak out about what these globalists are doing through it. See, they've sold conservatives to go, well, the government's good because I'm pro-government. I'm conservative. No, not when it's hijacked by globalists. Not when it's hijacked by Michael Moore. Now, a big report I did 3.5 years ago, Don Salazar, Alex Jones, government promises to stop lying because of Drudge Report. And they come out and they say in an hour-long press conference with the then Deputy Secretary of the Army, or no, Secretary of Defense, they say, listen, we know we've been lying to you and you don't believe us anymore. So we're going to send the CIA and military into every town and city. We're going to take over to make sure we tell the truth now. Now, that was Obama pushing all that. So when they tell you we're going to not take over, it's the opposite, but they said it. You go watch the hour-long press conference and see my analysis from 3.5 years ago. I said it's a total takeover, every city, every county, with covert operations, because they know the American people have woken up, and the big foreign banks don't want that to happen. Now, instead of that happening, the U.S. military and the Pentagon and the patriots that are in it, just like Hitler had Operation Valkyrie for martial law in case people resisted him, and a continuity government system, they tried to use that to take Hitler out. Well, because they tried to put in a martial law COG system to totally take over the United States. We still going? Good. Because they put that in, the intelligence agencies were all given the intel that it was a martial law plan. They had the proof they needed that it was sedition, but they could also use these communication grids and systems into all the local media to actually go in and turn the public, who was already partially awake, completely against the New World Order globalist plan. And there's been an intelligence agency counter coup through a popular vote and the American people and the Electoral College to defeat the globalists, because they were so arrogant. It's not the intelligence agencies are perfect, but a weirdo pedophile pervert like Bill Clinton and Hillary, and walking around in Chinese communist outfits. She's not just their agent, but wears their uniforms, saying that they were going to dominate America and take the guns and go after veterans. And it was just like, we're really going to be dominated by these people? No. There's no reason to make America poor and dominate us and bring us down. America will snatch the entire globalist system away from them that we built and paid for, not to enslave the planet, but as it was originally sold 60 years ago, to empower the world. Now, we'll see if that actually is carried out, but that's the narrative, and it's a lot better narrative than the transhumanist, globalist, eugenics thing where everybody's got to be poor and we're going to make people dumb and stupid so they're more servile and create a giant dumbed-down population. So that's where the world stands right now. A new article, White House fears sabotage by intelligence industrial complex. All this stuff you see isn't feared sabotage, it's current sabotage. Now here's a file from 2 years ago on Jade Helm. And yeah, we're vindicated. Everything we told you about Jade Helm has now been admitted, and Obama had it all down to the plan. What's the exact quote? You can go Greenwald, that's the big mainline reporter there. Coming soon to a city near you, the U.S. military plan to take over America. You should add for the globalists. That's the last one. And the left saw, we need to use the army to kill Trump or arrest him. We need to use the intelligence agencies to spy on him. Why? The president can't ever talk to the Russians. Presidents don't do anything but do what the Democrats and the neocons say. Lindsey Graham's our president. He's got, well, nobody's a bigger candy ass than him and John McCain. So, question is, are they better than us? So here's some of these news articles. Here's the original Jade Helm document posted at army.mil, linked at infowars.com, where they admit the plan to train for invading Texas and taking our guns. But it was multifaceted. It wasn't going to happen in 2015. It was just to get the public all riled up so they could say, there's no military takeover imminent, so we would just accept the incremental. As they try to implode the economy and the social justice warriors, the Black Lives Matter. Covert warfare coming to Texas sparked some fears of federal takeover. Then they went on in all the major papers to say we said it was an imminent takeover. Well, we never said that. Jade Helm, troops to operate undetected amongst civilian population. Again, that's just all part of training them to be basically CIA assassins. Video, Marines practice subduing citizens inside internment camp. And they say, you're a veteran, you're a gun owner, you're a constitutionalist, we're going to arrest you. So you see the training right there. But instead of just saying, hey, they shouldn't be doing that training, they say, oh, it's imminent takeover to discredit us. And one big thing Trump did about 2 weeks ago, you can pull this up, is he said all this extremist program thing at tens of billions a year, we're not going to do that for patriots and gun owners and veterans and people anymore. We're going to do it for Islamicists who are almost all the terror attacks. So see, Trump's even pulling federal funding off of this right now for this whole program. Document, Jade Helm, commander, plans to operationalize the Kona base right here in the United States, continental United States. See? They tell you, we're going operational in America. It's our orders under Obama. Then you say, hey, you're going operational in Kona. CONUS against the American people. And they says, what the hell are you talking about? We didn't invade Texas, Alex. You told us we were. And I said, I never said that. Well, we're going to say that in your name, Alex. And I said, well, that's good. You might have ABC, NBC, and everybody else say I said that, but my listeners know the truth. So go ahead and try it. Establishment press discredits itself with Jade Helm deceit. Article on that. There's articles, why is Texas State Guard monitoring U.S. military exercise? That's what you do under the Constitution. And people got so freaked out, they stampeded the media, and people believed my name so much that when they put my name on it and said they're coming to take over Texas in 3 months for martial law, people actually got ready for war, even though I was on the air saying it isn't true. Most of them only listen to me every once in a while. They just knew Alex Jones said they were coming. So the governor and everybody else just got ready for war. Even though I was calling the governor saying, sir, it's made up. And I met with his representative. So see, that's why you guys got to watch out, because people know I mean the truth. I'm not lying to people. So even when they lie in my name, folks act at it. And that's a threat, because I don't want to cause a civil war in this country. I want to stop it. Louis Garment gets why some Texans are worried about military takeover, National Journal. And he goes into Obama was training for martial law, buying billions of bullets, had the military training for it. A lot of the military actually got what it was. It was kind of a dry run to see if they could get away with it. And now Obama has built a bunker 2 miles from Trump and says he's preparing a military takeover. It's in the news. And Michael Moore says, kill Trump, overthrow him today, Infowars.com. See? But it's okay, because Trump and all the Make America Great people and folks that want lower taxes and want guns and private property and God, everybody knows that came from the Russians. That never came from America. George Washington was a Russian. You never knew that? Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson were all Russians. Andrew Jackson couldn't wipe his own ass. Vladimir Putin used to get in a time machine and go back and help him do it. Jade Helm, the human domain, the domestic plan behind Jade Helm. And again, they get into all this in their own PowerPoints, that it is a plan to take over America. Not that our military is bad. They're the ones leaking the info. They don't want to be part of this. But the media plays strawman, and again it says, if I say our government worked with Saudi Arabia 9/11, they go, well, Alex, you say our government blew up the World Trade Centers and the fire department did it. No, I never said that. You said that. And that's why you're so discredited. Chuck Norris came out and said, Jade Helm15, Crime Stoppers at Risk. And he exposed the fact that serious stuff was going on. And they're so scared of Chuck Norris because of his name and who he is with the military. They did drills on his ranch without asking him. And this came from his son, hoping he would do something. Oh, they fear Chuck Norris even more than me and General Boykin. There's key names they really fear with the military. Abbott defends Jade Helm15 decision, saying, yeah, the manual says martial law training, we're going to monitor it. See? They tried to say it was all made up Alex Jones. They even made up what I said, but still it blew up in their face because the public hated them so much. Even their outlandish claim that I said they were going to invade and take over blew up in their face. Army manual outlines plan to kill rioters, demonstrators in America. Well, they may have to if the cities are burning, but again, the globalists and Soros are pushing it, so they have an excuse to set the precedent. Now, this is what you really want to read. FM 3-39.40, Internment Resettlement Operations. 2010, this got leaked. The year after it got leaked to us by patriots, Obama admitted it was real and it was released. Talks about processing your social security numbers, how to put you in a forced labor camp. Remember, the Weathermen openly said that back in the 70s in federal court. How to process you and your family. And then, of course, there's Freedom from War, the United States Program for General and Complete Disarmament in a Peaceful World, how the United Nations takes our guns, who runs our refugee program, who runs the Unitaire program, who runs the Safe City and Strong Cities initiatives, the UN. And it goes on to say, State Department Publication 7277, go read it, see scans of the manual online. This is the reason Kennedy probably got killed. He meant well, but that was the end of it with some people in this country. And I'm not defending what happened to Kennedy, but now I know more than I used to. They were going to start the disarmament of our military in the Soviet Union under the UN. Folks saw it was a UN globalist takeover. The UN was created by the Rockefellers, and Texas is the reason the president's dead. Quote, certain rock band with Lynn Danzig. Texas said no, and America said no. Kennedy has been strung along the whole time and set up. Very sad situation, but you should go read State Department Memorandum 7277 in public law. So that's the plan right there. You can read the short title purpose, Public Law 87-297, for yourself and see what's passed into law to disarm the American people, bring in the United Nations, and disarm our military and police as well. That's U.S. law. That's at thomas.loc.gov right now for you and your family. So they can argue they already put it into law to disarm you, the military, and the police. And when Kennedy signed that, he committed treason. Everybody else knows what happened to him at that point. Now, other corrupt globalist forces came in. They corrupted things. They made deals with China to sell us out. Kennedy did some good stuff on trying to get us out of the Federal Reserve. It was all a big battle. But once POTUS was dead, and once they were able to set up their system, now they're openly trying to complete their takeover of America via deindustrialization. Here's the civilian inmate labor camp program. This is declassified over a decade ago. Army.mil to put you into forced labor camps if they say you committed a crime, and federal work camps. All this is available, Army.mil. Now they think you're stupid. They'll probably have a news article about this, claiming that I say flying monkeys come out of, Bill Clinton's ass or something. That's not what I said. I sat here and I covered the truth with you, just like I always do. Let me get a few other news articles here for you, and I'm going to shut this down. Let's look at how. Can you girls shut that door? I'll put you guys to bed in a minute. I'm here doing a live feed. Please shut the door. I just can't stop working. It's a great thing about kids. They're designed genetically not to hear a word you say, so they can kind of figure stuff out again on their own. I'm going to go shut that door so we can finish this transmission. All right, I'll come shut the door. All right. He was dressed like 1950, half drunk and hollow-eyed. Anyways, let's get back to what I was covering here. See, what the globalists do is they launch a program, and then they have their own media criticize the program to then demonize their opposition and put a discredited version of what's going on, so no real opposition ever forms to it. You're like, hell, the Saudi Arabians were allowed in to attack. NORAD stood down. They go, you say the firefighters blew the building, huh, boy? Or, my God, our government, and going back to Brennan, converted to Wahhabism in Saudi Arabia and admits he works for Islam, wants to flood the West. They're like, so you don't like our government, boy? Same thing over and over again. Yeah, I don't like weird-ass Saudi Arabian cult members running things that tell the president, you better watch your mouth. You ought to watch your mouth. You goddamn traitor. You piece of shit. Excuse me. That won't be in the HD version. I mean, I'm just, at this point, I'm completely fed up with these people. And the arrogance of these people. Like, they think they can sit there and run their mouths forever and there's not going to be some opposite response to it. Excuse me. Just stop right there. Let me hit a few final articles here. And I'm going to put out an article tomorrow and a special report dealing with communist China and the fact that they are openly involved in the Democratic Party and the Republican leadership. And George Soros, who's a foreign globalist, is funding all the top Republicans from Mitch McConnell to, you name it, all Lindsey Graham, John McCain, all of them, Paul Ryan. Well, they run their mouths and claim Trump's some kind of foreign globalist when they're the ones screwing the country over. But you can pull up PC World, Associated Press, Reuters, where, again, if you're exposing evil and saying it's bad, they'll say it doesn't exist. But if you're going, yeah, the Chinese are going to help censor Trump and America and help take over, of course they are. It's no big deal to have mass murder and communist Chinese running things. Red washing, the silver screen, Washington Times, how they're buying up the big 6 production firms and putting all this communist Chinese propaganda in, and even have Michael Bay movies coming out with $300 million budgets about how Donald Trump's a traitor that's overthrown by U.S. Special Forces. So then people go watch that movie and think it's okay if the military overthrows Trump because, after all, it was the Transformers director said so. What happens when a country cracks down on fake news? Ask China. And this whole article, this whole thing gets into how wonderful it is out of PC world that China's teaching us how to censor America. Thank God they killed 80 plus million of their own people under Mao alone, another 15 million after that. And thank God they killed Buddhists caught secretly practicing religion. And thank God nobody can own guns. And thank God they're slaves. And thank God the communist Chinese are here to shut Americans up. Glad somebody is. I love Chucky Schumer. I love all those people. China's scary lesson to the world. Censoring the internet works. Washington Post. We're looking to them to shut up the alt-right in America. They'll teach those veterans to roll over and die not getting any health care. They'll teach everybody to pay that Obamacare penalty that Trump vetoed last week. And it's now dead, but they won't even tell the public the news. Congress wouldn't pass a law, so Trump just blew the hell out of it. Doesn't matter, you'll never hear about that. You'll hear he's a Russian. That Russian spy just killed the $5,000 a year fine for not buying Obamacare. Damn them Russians. Want to pay Obamacare. U.S. tech firms should enable Chinese censorship. Why Google? Quit China. What's all happening there? Then we've got Merkel. 2 out of 3 Germans want Merkel gone, but the way she rigged the parliament, they just can't get rid of her. And anti-Islam Wilders is in the lead in the Netherlands to be their next president. But that doesn't matter because they're about to arrest him and have indicted him, saying it's illegal to criticize Islam. And they're saying he's a Russian agent. And so's Le Pen. Her daddy, big right-wing paratrooper, nationalist for 50 years. She's been a nationalist for decades, trying to get sovereignty back out of the EU. They just say she's a Russian. And the State Department, ignoring Trump and Tillerson, just says they're going to work right now against it and make sure she doesn't get elected because she's a Russian spy. That's right. You don't want the EU running your life. You're a Russian spy. You don't want 5 million jihadis brought into Europe to run your life? You're a Russian spy. Germany, Pakistan men sexually assault 6-year-old girl, gets light sentence. Look at that story out of the Express. That's okay. It's just their culture to wear burkinis and crap in your pool. It's all right. You need to accept it, even though they won't accept you in any of their countries. Korean embassy warned citizens not to visit Paris, violent migrant suburbs, after attack on a bus. Yeah, Paris is on fire for 5 days in 3 other cities. It's Muslims murdering, raping, and killing, police getting killed. And all you hear on the news is there's some anti-police riots. It's all part of the takeover of the world. The scumbag socialist globalists allied with Islam. And I saw like Running magazine this morning without even looking, and TV shows that like women wearing burqas, it's the new thing to do. U.S. bound Cubans stranded in Mexico say they're victims of extortion and more. Now that Obama banned any Cubans coming to America because they're right wingers, but everybody else can come, Mexico's sucking money out of them and not letting them into the country. Oh, look, it's Q. You're not leaving. Get on over here. Come on, come get on the show. You just dropped Rex off from his training. Get over here. Girls, you stay in there a minute. I'm going to take you to bed in a second. Here in the house doing a broadcast. ICE, so you're trying to sneak out. It's not going to work. ICE detainer denied for man charged with repeatedly sexually assaulting girl right here in Austin. Or that was in San Antonio. Travis County, let's go at child predators. They're illegal. Border Patrol agents arrest previously deported killer. Hear it all. This is the total takeover. ICE released 86,208 criminal aliens in just the last 2 years. And then we go on and on and on. But look at the new New York Fashion Week hijabs tops the top fashion runways. Women aren't even allowed out of their houses without, but don't worry here, it's the fashionable thing to do for all the dumbasses. I know Q actually wants to join the jihad. Look at this though. Got some other news up in it. Come over here right now. He didn't even want to get on TV tonight, but he's a legendary mall cop. 3 tours
What I do.
in an awesome mall. And he's here to give us his view on this whole situation. So what do you didn't even know when you were bringing Rex back over here from his gardening training.
That's right.
That this was going on. But you heard a few of the headlines as you got here. What do you make of all this?
I did. I think it's crazy. I don't understand how General Flynn was forced to resign for doing the same thing that Hillary did over and over and over, yet she was allowed to run for presidency. So, I don't know. There's a lot of different things that really blow my mind as far as what's going on in society right now. The whole hijab headpiece
You didn't know that the president or his national security advisor isn't allowed to talk to Russians on the phone? I thought the president had total purview to talk to whoever he wanted.
I thought that's why he was the national security advisor. But who am I? Clearly I don't know anything.
Well, Hillary could meet as a State Department head with Putin secretly.
Right.
As long as authorized the president, she actually could. But, I mean, this is a new world.
But show us the documents that shows he authorized her to do it. Otherwise, it wasn't safe. It wasn't okay.
Well, that's what I've said to Trump. I don't know everything he knows, obviously, but the Chinese, I've got a stack of articles of Saudi Arabia and something that I'm going to close with, all admit that they said you can't have Trump. They funded Hillary's election. That's illegal.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to hear about it's insulting that the Russians have strings attached to me, everybody else I know. It's really pissing people off.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this check. If we work for the Russians, I'm ready for my check.
I haven't got my check yet.
No. So Putin, if you're watching, direct deposit.
Well, that's another thing. Our check comes from the listeners and viewers that buy the great products we've got at InfoWarsStore.com. So I guess they're Putin too.
That's it.
But I'm going to cover more of this tomorrow. Obviously, I'm going to end this transmission. I'm going to get back on the HD here in just a minute. But hey, thanks for taking the rest to work out.
Get that caveman protein.
That's right. Hey, it's a great new product. And Q pointed out we should come out with a non-sweetened version, even though it's got stevia. That's at InfoWarsStore.com. Thank you for that point. Let me just finish these final points here since the guys came back. I told them to go to dinner after they worked out, and they just came right back over. Let's get back to this right now. Rex is doing his ballet training right now. Okay, let's get back to the news. Saudi Arabia has funded 20% of Hillary's presidential campaign, Saudi Arabian prince claims. And then you go through, it's some of the same folks that own Fox News, and they admit that they funded 20% of the campaign. It's in the Federal Elections Commission. Totally illegal, but that's okay. If that ain't treason, I'll kiss your ass. The Hill. Billionaire Saudi Prince Trump should end campaign. Foreign leaders telling us in the campaign. But the Russians run everything. Pope Francis is the anti-Trump, putting Catholic money and words against the president. Now the whole Catholic Church turned against him, so shows how the animating contest of liberty works. Not bashing Catholics, they're great people. Pope Francis is no Catholic. He's a Catholic, and the Easter Bunny is. Mark Zuckerberg challenges Trump, puts his money against him, The Guardian. So all these multinational groups are allowed to do whatever they want. Romney implores power elite, bring down Trump. That's CNN. Again, all these foreign governments, all these foreign groups saying you can't have him, you can't do it. Federal unions, everybody else, and foreign groups, but you can't have it. All right, that's it for this transmission. More coming tomorrow. Infowars.com/show. But this is some of the news I didn't get to on the show today. So I absolutely committed to get all this out, and we've done it. So figure this out for yourselves. Yeah, we want free market. We want lower taxes. We want family values. We want private property. We want to control our borders. We don't want to fund radical Islam. We don't want to bring in unvetted groups. And you know what the media says? It means we're Russian agents. Well, I don't really know much Russian, but what's Vostvodanya or something mean? I mean, this is ridiculous. Hey, quiet for a minute. Nationalism is rising worldwide. And we're in a very, very exciting time right now. And so this is all about our individual countries coming together for sovereignty and independent freedom. Nations aren't perfect, but they were at least founded by cultures and peoples. That's a hell of a lot better than globalism. So think for yourself. I'm Alex Jones, and this is, and you are, the InfoWar.